Do you know different Chinese with different ancestral origin enjoy different type of food in Chinese New Year? Chinese New Year is one of the biggest events for the Chinese, but the custom of celebrations might differ according to origins. While the Chinese New Year dishes are getting more luxurious with fancy names, all of them are related to making money, good health, live long and prosper, and many auspicious wishes that you can think of.
Even during Chinese New Year, we say 恭喜发财 or 恭喜发财. 恭喜发财 means hope you get rich.
And hi, my name is Evan. Welcome back to Fearless Passport. First of all, I'd like to wish everyone a belated Happy Chinese New Year, and I'm really sorry for releasing this video quite late. Today, I'd like to share with you special cuisines that the Malaysian Chinese consume during the Chinese New Year. Although each Chinese subgroups in Malaysian Chinese community have a representative dish, however, our food culture is well combined and some even have the fusions from the Nusantara culture. It is not surprising to see Chinese serve muruku, one of the Indian prominent snacks at their homes, and certain Chinese family in Kelantan or Terengganu also enjoy curries, nasi kandar, and snacks originated from the Malay. So we can say that the culture is pretty much assimilated. In a certain corporate event, you will also see Malay Indian colleagues celebrating Chinese New Year together by tossing isang, an auspicious salad believed to originate from the Cantonese, served with raw fish and various types of julienne vegetable. And of course, each ingredient on the plate also represents an auspicious meaning.
Long life, long life, long life, happiness, long life, long life.
The most significant dish for the Cantonese is lap mei, cured meat or the preserved meat. In Mandarin, it is read as la wei. La is a method of processing meat, and the meat is pickled with salt or sauce, then placed in a ventilated place for air dry. This tradition came from the pre-refrigeration era of preserving meat when food was not easy to prepare. The principle in producing lap mei is similar to the standard curing practice with salt, sugar, and wine, and sodium nitrate. Usually, there are three types of lap mei available at the local market. They are the preserved Chinese sausages, preserved pork, and preserved ducks. The meat are commonly marinated and air-dried in December, where the weather is less cloudy, less rainy and dry. Before Chinese New Year, you will see bundles of Chinese sausages tied in string and hang outside of a Chinese shop or traditional Chinese medicine shop or any other non-halal meat poultry supplier. During the New Year, the significant dish from the lap mei is lap mei fan. The rice is preserved in a clay pot and topped with cured meat like lap cheong, Chinese sausages, yun cheong, and the preserved duck. The meat, after air dried and marinated with plenty of sauces, has a unique umami flavor, and usually the leftover cuts can be used in the porridge as lap mei zou. Next is Hakka. The Hakka people are originally northern and central Han Chinese who escaped into the hilly areas in southeast China during the Yuan and Ming dynasty. So their food comes from the rural farming populations that didn't have much access to fresh or expensive ingredients. Usually their food are simply enhanced with fermented vegetable or just with a small amount of salty fish in a minced pork to create a stronger umami flavor. The typical Hakka dish are the pork belly with preserved vegetable, mui choy cow yolk, the yam hibiscus seed or yam gnocchi, you can call it suan panzi, yong dao fu, and many more. But what I want to introduce to you today is loi cha. Loi cha is a kind of ground tea or tea-based beverage originated from He Po Hakka Jiexi village. Loi in Hakka word is called grind, and cha obviously is the tea. The tea-based beverage is ground with several nuts and seeds, and all of them must be roasted to bring out the flavor. The most common ones are peanuts, sesame, pine nuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and lotus seeds. All of the ingredients are ground in a food processor or traditionally pounded with a mortar, loi bat, and a pestle, loi gun. The mix should be pounded and reduced to a paste-like texture in green color. and then water should add in bit by bit to help with the grinding. Otherwise, you can also mix the green paste with hot water, and then the loi cha tea is ready to serve. Tea is usually served with other vegetarian side dishes such as the greens, lots and lots of greens, tofu and pickled radish. So as you can see with the color, the loi cha is super healthy and it's vegan. You can get this cuisine from any vegetarian or Hakka restaurant. Have you ever wondered why there are more fireworks and firecrackers on the 8th day of Lunar New Year compared to the first day? That's because the Hokkien celebrate Bai Tian Gong on the 9th day of the first lunar month, and the festival is usually held on the evening of the 8th day. And Bai Tian Gong, Bai Ti Gong is the most important festival for the Hokkien, the Minnan people, and the custom is well inherited in Fujian, Hainan, Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. During the ceremony, beside the red tortoise cake, barbecue pork, and so many, one must not miss the sugarcane at the side as one of the most prominent offering. Tiangong is the common name of the Jade Emperor. The history of this ceremony got to be traced back to one Lunar New Year in Ming Dynasty, when the Japanese pirates invaded Fujian and looted thousands of locals along the coast of Fujian. So in order to escape the killing, masses of villagers fled into sugarcane plantations and successfully avoided the pirates. When the villagers walk out of the forest when everything is clear, it was already the 9th day of Lunar New Year. And the villagers believed that it was the supreme god, the Tiangong Jade Emperor, blessed them from the disaster. So they began to worship the god in the early morning of the 9th day of Lunar New Year to thank the god for saving their lives. In the Hokkien dialects, sugarcane is known as Hokchia, sounds similar to the pronunciations of thank you, Kamsia. My Hokkien is not that accurate, so in case I pronounce it wrongly, you can always correct me in the comment sections below. Anyway, the sugar cane is a thankful gesture to the Jade Emperor for saving their ancestors' life. And that is why during the Bai Tian Gong ceremony, sugar cane is a mandatory offering. The famous bak kwa, which translates to dried meat or pork jerky, is a delicacy from Hokkien and nowadays is enjoyed by all Chinese regardless of their ancestral origin. In the old times where everyone were quite poor, meat was a luxury and only kept for special occasion. In Malaya, the square sheets of bak kwa are first originated from Lim Chi Guan in Singapore. During Chinese New Year, because of kiasuness, Singaporeans would line up at least 1 hour outside of this shop to get a few bags of handmade bak kwa. The pork jerky is a must-buy because of their red hue, which the Chinese believe brings them luck and fortune. And their taste, bak kwa is sweet and tangy with a little bit spice marinade with sugar and hint of smokiness from the roasting over charcoal. Steamed fish are very popular among the Chinese community, and the Teochew steamed fish is exactly a representation of what Teochew cuisine is all about: fresh, light, and healthy. Generally, Teochew cuisine do not use much seasoning. They rely more on the freshness of the ingredient, and whether or not you are Teochew Nang, you will appreciate the natural sourness of the pickled plum and the mustard green in this dish. A good selection of fresh tomatoes also enhance the sourness and sweetness of the gravy. The steamed fish consists lots of vegetable with a flavorful balance of sourness and saltiness. This is my Teochew steamed fish in Sek Yun restaurant. As you can see, the broth is super clear and healthy, with lots of vegetables and ginger on the side, with pickled palm, mustard greens, tofu, and fresh tilapia. A whole big dish of this only costs 42 ringgit, which is about $10 US. I think I had about 3 to 4 bowls of this broth because it's so tasty, so light, served very well with just white rice. There's a saying in Hainan, if you don't have a chicken, you can't have a feast. The famous Wenchang chicken was brought over to Southeast Asia and slowly be known as Hainan chicken in general. During Chinese New Year or any other big festival, very few Hainanese slaughter pig in celebration. And no matter how poor they are, they will slaughter a chicken instead for Chinese New Year. Chicken indirectly represents an indicator of happiness for the Hainanese. The preparations of Hainanese chicken is relatively simple. Just boil the entire chicken in a hot water and let the natural flavor take place. While the Xinhua belong to a relatively small Chinese subgroup among the Chinese Malaysian community, most of them still remain their prominent traditions that have been passed on by their ancestors from Putian and Xianyou County in Fujian, China. Their prominent traditions during the Chinese New Year is to gather the entire family for a bowl of humble noodle. The Xinhua noodles are also called longevity noodles. The noodle is long and will not break to symbolize longevity and 100 years of life. The noodle preparations is simple yet auspicious. It is served with boiled egg and a clear chicken broth that brings the meaning of reunion because the egg is in a round shape. And the Xinhua handmade noodles are as thin as hair. It is purely handmade and stretched into a meters long, and of course the process of making the noodle is very complicated. The noodle master will have to mix the flour and put them over and over again until the diameter of the dough is as fine as hair, and the drying process is depending on the weather. Sometimes, if the weather is cloudy, the entire batch of the stretched noodle will not dry evenly, and that is considered a defect noodle. The Fuzhou people, Hokchia and Hokchew, is a little similar to Xinhua people, as their counties are close to each other in Fujian, China. They also have the noodle with egg in the chicken soup on your first day of Chinese New Year, but the difference is the color of the soup. The Fuzhou people use mi suang, immersed in chicken soup that has the red glutinous wine to give the red hue. And again, as all the Chinese cuisine, the noodles symbolize prosperity and longevity because Chinese people generally love abundance of money and health. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully this video didn't come out too late because we are still in February, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.